I'm gonna record it. Okay. So, like I explained before, the first way of overcoming limiting belief is by replacing what is fixed in our paradigm. Because what you have been taught in your childhood by your parents, by society, by friends and family and everything has been fixed in your subconscious mind in a form of something called paradigm. And when you try to think differently, when you try to overcome those limits, when you try to do something that is different from what you have been taught in the past, from the things that you used to do it, then when you try to think differently, when it comes to your subconscious mind, the paradigm will kick it out because it says, this is not in my list. So the very first step to overcome limiting belief is to practice the simple morning routine that I told you. Gratitude, 10-minute, gratitude, 10-minute meditation, 10-minute affirmation. That in a long term, like in details, I explained that to you. So then the second step to overcome limiting belief, like I told you, limiting belief comes from past. It has nothing to do with present moment, with now, because it comes from all the things that you have been taught, from all the things that your parents taught you, from all the things that the society told you, from all the things that you learned when you were a child. Now it's fixed in your paradigm, in your subconscious mind. So it comes from past. It has nothing to do with present moment. So what we should do? If we decide to say, you know what, I'm going to decide to think positively. I'm going to decide to think different so that I will, overcome those limiting beliefs. By saying this, you say, you know what, I'm gonna overcome those limiting beliefs. This way, you are trying to find more limiting belief. And if you are looking for more, you find more limiting belief, right? You say, you know what, I'm going to overcome my limiting belief. When you say, I'm going to overcome my limiting belief, even if you don't have a limiting belief, you will create something inside your mind called limiting belief. That means you tell yourself, I have a limiting belief inside my mind. I have something in mind. I want to overcome it, even if you don't have it. But instead of doing this, instead of telling yourself, hey, I have a limiting belief, I want to overcome it, very simple way is to practice mindfulness. What goes against worrying and what goes against, thinking about having something, thinking about limitations, the opposite of it is practicing mindfulness. Again, we go back to this simple routine of meditation, and meditation is a way of practicing mindfulness. Okay, so again, practicing mindfulness, practicing living in the moment. When you practice live in the moment, that means you focus on the moment. You no longer think about what happened to you, what you have been taught in the past, right? This is another way. Another way to actually overcome limiting belief is, okay, I'm going to give you one example. I say, Daniela, you're trying to learn how to drive, right? Right now, you're trying to.
Yes.
True. If you take the car, go out, and I tell you, hey, Daniela, drive from this point to that point, but make sure to not hit the tree, to not hit the trees. Don't hit the tree. Drive, but don't hit the tree. Drive, but don't hit the tree. Okay? Look, when I tell you this, all you think about is the trees.
Yeah.
Because I told you to not do that. I told you, I mentioned what to not do. I didn't tell you what to do. I told you what not to do.
Not to, yes.
So
Yeah.
it will be something in your mind, and you end up having a car accident and hitting a tree.
Because you focus on that too much.
Yes. I'm gonna give you another example. Right now, look at your room. Look around your room. Okay. When you look around your room, don't find blue. Don't find blue. Look around your room again. Again, look around your room. Don't find blue. Don't find blue. Okay? Don't find blue. Did you find blue?
Yes, because it's impossible. I've got on the wall.
Because I told you, I mentioned When you mention something, even if I tell you not to do it, I still mentioned it. And you did it. Okay, again, look at your room. Find brown colors. Find brown colors. Find brown colors. Okay. Did you find brown colors?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Did you find red? No.
Red, no.
because you focused on what you had to do, not what you didn't have to do, right? So that way, when you focus on things that you have to do instead of things that you don't have to do, you will achieve it. So instead of focusing on, say, you know what, I'm gonna find the limiting beliefs, I'm gonna do this and this and this, and I'm gonna overcome my limiting belief. I have fear of showing up. I have this, you know. And instead of saying, I want to overcome my fear, I want to overcome my fear, we're focusing on the fear more. There's two ways to actually overcome, like, to deal with this. We have one way. If you are more focused on getting away from the problem, if you are more focused on the problem that you have, try to get away from the problem more than the goal that you want to achieve, just like the red and the brown, you end up not achieving your goal because you are more focused on the problem. But instead of focusing on the problem, turn to the side, focus on the goal, just like the brown. You will achieve the goal. You still have that limiting belief, but you are more focused on the goal. Simply, you go toward the goal. So this way, you are going to achieve what you want by focusing on that. And how can we improve our focus? Because focus is very important. Sometimes we have a problem, we have an issue with that. Again, we go back to that, practicing mindfulness, meditation, affirmation, daily affirmation. These things will help you to practice mindfulness, to practice living in the moment, to improve your focus. Okay, so this is a very simple way. I have one way that I did when I started my business, and it helped me a lot. One of the things that I recommend to overcome limiting belief is to actually, have a list. I'm not saying find a limiting belief, but I actually did this. Okay, let me tell you how. I will send you something, but I want you to create this for yourself. But I will send that to you, but you can do it by your own too. Look, I want you to create a list, okay? In here, this is one-time thing that you will never do in your lifetime, okay? All the things that you tell yourself, all the things that you tell yourself, all the feeling that you have that comes to your mind when you are about to do something and you hold yourself back. What are the things that you tell yourself that comes to your mind when you hold yourself back most of the times of doing something? Okay, the things that come to your mind. Okay, this is not for me. Write it down. Limitingly. This is not for me. This is what I can do. This is not for you. You're not good with this. You're not good enough. You know, all the things that come to your mind, write it down. All the things, think about them, even if it is 100, one-time thing. Then write down the opposite of it. Okay, the opposite of each one of them in the side. Do you remember I told you in the law of attraction paradigm, the things that we have in our mind, we have to replace it in the paradigm. We cannot change it. We should replace it. So right now, we are looking for the voices, because these voices are very important. That can help us to actually know how can we replace them. One time, write the voices that comes to your mind. Then write all the opposite voices, like all of opposite things. For example, you're not good enough. You are good enough. I am good enough. I can do this. For example, all the opposites of what comes to your mind. One time thing, okay? Then delete this, erase this part, the limiting belief, okay? Just throw it away. Only keep this side. And for the next 3 weeks, put them in your daily affirmation. Put them in your daily affirmation. Repeat each one of them 3 to 10 times every day. Then that's how you will replace every single voice in your mind, the limiting belief. You'll replace the voices. So the next time instead of telling yourself, I'm not good enough, that's the red line. Another good thing about writing them down is that you see it. When you see it, you know what's the red line. The next time when it comes to your mind, you will stop it and you will tell yourself the opposite things. And instead of just thinking about it, you have to tell yourself. When it comes to your mind, you will stop it, you tell yourself, no, I am good enough. With a loud voice, you tell yourself, I am good enough. Then you will shut the voice, the inner voice in your mind, and you'll tell yourself, I am good enough. Trust me, I've had times that I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. I didn't make money. I was not there yet. Okay. And something stressed me out and I cried I remember one time I cried so much and I stood in front of the mirror and something would tell me, I told you this is not for you. I told you should not do this. I told you this is not for us. This is not for where you have came from. Like all these inner voices. Then I went to, and I stood up, like I was standing right there in front of the mirror and I was telling myself, you know what? I was crying and I was telling myself in the mirror, you know what? I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to prove you wrong. I was telling my inner voice, I'm going to prove you wrong. No, I will do it. I can do it. You're wrong. I can do it. And I did it. Because I didn't let that come out. I stopped it because I knew that's the inner voices that I should stop. I should replace them. Nowadays, I barely have those inner voices because I replaced all of them.
Wow, that's a progress.
Yeah, because I proved myself that I can do it, so they no longer come out. I proved myself that, yes, I can do it, and I did it. When I did it, they no longer come out because I proved myself. They no longer have a thing. It's not there anymore. Okay, I replaced all of them. So these are very simple strategies to actually overcome your limiting belief. Okay, and there's something else that I will share with you. Okay, let me stop.